you'll see here in the beginning, I'm kind of working with the shadows a little bit to see what happens with the whole image, what I get for refraction, and also where I like the shadow and the light coming through the glass a little bit more. And this is not, again, how I normally paint. I'm starting this out at regular speed so you can see I'm kind of moving through and applying a background color to a canvas that's already been prepped with a tone on it, but it's a little bit dark. So I started in regular time and then I went into quick and then slowed down. I realized as I was working on it that I didn't intend to paint the bottom, so that's what you saw me doing, is kind of wiping out a little bit of that. Because the background is still wet, as I'm laying this other color on top of it, it's coming out a little bit pink. So I'm gonna need to go back into it later when it's dry if I want it to be closer to the color of what it is in actuality. I'm putting a little bit of blue in here just because I want to include a little bit of a cool color. And now I start kind of drawing it with my brush. You can see I'm keeping it very light and not worrying about filling in every line, because I know I'm gonna like it a little bit more if some of the edges disappear. And I'm trying to primarily look for the shapes. You can always go back in later and paint a little bit more on top of it, but right now I'm just kind of looking at what are the shapes that I see and where are the areas of greater contrast and how can I lay those in as I'm getting started with the painting. The lovely thing about something like this is no one knows if you're doing it exactly as it looks like. It's a little bit more straightforward, or maybe less straightforward than doing like a portrait where if things are out of place, it's very obvious. In this kind of situation, it's not going to be obvious to anybody else if your shapes are exactly right, but the brain and the eye will work together to understand what's happening with the refraction. So I'm going to be quiet for a little bit and let you just see what I did with this. Note how I use my pinky on the edge of the frame there to give a little bit of stability while I'm trying to do those lines. Just keep in mind again, as much as possible, that you're just looking for shapes and lines and things that you see happening. If we get too hung up on what we're painting, then it trips us up and makes it really difficult to paint. If you just paint what you see and don't worry about what it is, you can step back and it'll be very surprising what comes up. So now it's a week later and the paint is dry, so you can see when I'm adding what is closer to the original on here, I'm able to do it without getting the paint pulled in from underneath. I decide I would like to add a little bit more warm tone to the background. So you can see even here I can go in, and I don't even need to fill in every aspect of it, just put a few dabs of it here inside the glass, but I appreciate the overall look of the piece this way more. On the day that I am working on this, it's a little bit sunnier outside, the sky's a little bit bluer, and so I've added some of the blue reflections into the glass because I kind of like how it looks with the other colors.